All right, let's dive into 10 English grammar rules that trip up just about everyone. Yep, even native speakers. Think you know your stuff? Well, let's find out.
So, you're feeling pretty confident in your English, huh? That's awesome. But we're about to put it to the test. I guarantee a few of these are going to surprise you, so get ready.
Welcome to what I'm calling the Grammar Gauntlet. We've got 10 really tricky rules lined up. Ready to see how you measure up? Okay, let's kick things off with our very first question.
Okay, first up, have a look at this sentence. There's a word missing right at the beginning. Blank, Molly to resign, who'd replace her? What do you think fits in there? Take a second.
And the answer is were. Were Molly to resign? Now, this is a really cool trick to make your English sound super formal and polished. Instead of saying, if Molly were to resign, you just drop the if and flip it around. It's a subtle thing, but it packs a punch.
All right, on to the next challenge. I want you to take these two sentences and stitch them together using the phrase not only and but. How would you put those together to make one smooth sentence?
Here's the most elegant way to say it. Not only did he wear mismatched socks, but he also forgot to brush his teeth. See that little flip? We changed he did to did he. Whenever you start a sentence with a phrase like not only, you've got to do that little inversion. It's a real sign of advanced English.
Okay, let's talk about the real world versus the textbook. Technically, to whom does this jacket belong is the gold standard of correctness. But let's be honest, you'll almost never hear anyone say that. Pretty much everyone will just say, who does this jacket belong to? It's a great reminder that language is alive, you know? It changes.
All right, put on your detective hat for this one. Tim or myself will lead the meeting today. Something in there isn't quite right. Can you spot it? This is an incredibly common slip-up.
Yep, the mistake is using myself. It should be Tim or I will lead the meeting. Here's a super simple rule of thumb. You only use myself if you've already said I earlier in the same clause. Like, I made myself some coffee. In our sentence, I is the subject, so you just use I.
And hey, if you got that one wrong, please don't feel bad. You are in very good company. Our source for this explainer actually points out that tons of native speakers make this mistake all the time. It's so common, who knows, maybe in 50 years, it'll actually be correct.
Ah, the classic showdown, lay versus lie. These two verbs confuse everybody. And I mean everyone. So take a look at these two sentences and tell me, which one is it for each?
Okay, the answers are lie for the first one and lay for the second. Here's the secret. Lay always needs an object. You lay something down. But lie doesn't need anything after it. You just lie down. A little trick is to remember that lay has an A in it, and you lay an object.
All right, this next one's a little bit of a curveball. What one single word can you pop into this sentence to show that this is a regular thing and probably a really annoying habit? Our neighbor play heavy metal all night long.
And the surprise answer is will. Our neighbor will play heavy metal all night long. How about that? We all learned that will is for the future, but you can also use it to talk about habits. And if you really stress the word, he will do that, it adds a layer of annoyance.
Now let's talk phrasal verbs. You wouldn't say get the flu over, right? You'd say get over the flu. The rule here is simple. Some phrasal verbs, like get over, are non-separable. Think of get and over as being glued together. The object, in this case the flu, has to come after them.
Okay, we're shifting gears a little bit. We're now entering the territory where the rules start to get a little fuzzy. So for this sentence, the crowd getting restless, would you use is or would you use are? And the answer is, it depends on where you live. In British English, you can actually use either one. Is treats the crowd like one single thing, while are focuses on all the different people in it. But in American English, it's a lot more straightforward. You'd almost always use is. What about this one?
Is it a historic event or an historic event? Well, the rule you probably learned is to use a before a consonant sound, which makes sense. A historic is totally common. But you'll also hear people say an historic, especially if their accent drops that H sound at the beginning. So guess what? Both are okay.
And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the great debate, the Oxford comma. That's that little comma before the and in a list. So, what's the verdict? Well, the truth is, both are correct. It's totally a style choice. American English usually uses it, British English often doesn't. The only real rule is to pick one and stick with it.
And there we go. 10 tricky grammar rules, done and dusted. We went all the way from super formal structures to the little differences between dialects.
So, moment of truth, how did you do in the grammar gauntlet? Be honest. Go ahead and count up your score. Did any of them surprise you? Look, the main takeaway here isn't about getting a perfect 10. It's about seeing that English has all these fascinating, tricky corners. Context changes everything, and believe me, even the experts have to stop and think about these things. The most important thing is to just keep practicing.
And you know, our source material says it best. If you actually got all of those questions right, then seriously, well done. Your English is absolutely amazing. But for the rest of us, just remember that every little mistake is just a part of the journey.
So I'll leave you with this question. What grammar puzzle are you going to try and solve next? Keep on exploring, keep asking questions, and thanks for joining me for this explainer.